Okay, so this deep dive request you sent, this one's a real head scratcher.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
Justin Bieber and Diddy.
It's a weird one,
It's
right?
like on the surface, what's the connection beyond both being music guys, you know?
Right.
But then we got into the sources you sent, and wow, things get kind of dark.
Yeah, it's a story that I think a lot of people will find surprising, um, disturbing in a way.
It really makes you think about all the stuff you don't see, like all the behind the scenes stuff, especially with like young stars in the music industry.
Exactly. The power dynamics at play, the pressures they face,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
And you want to specifically understand those allegations against Diddy, right? And how all that ties into Justin Bieber's early career.
That's right. Because when you look at when those things intersect, it really, I think, reveals a lot about the music industry as a whole.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Back to Bieber Fever, 2009.
Oh, yeah.
That babyface kid with the floppy hair, Baby, playing nonstop everywhere you go.
Everyone knew all the words.
It's easy to forget how young he was, like 14 years old. Discovered on YouTube,
Yeah.
mentored by Usher, of all people.
Sure.
Like, boom, global superstar practically overnight.
And that's really, I think, the crucial point here. It's not just a teenager getting famous. It's a child thrust into this world of adults and adult pressures and temptations. I mean, how do you even process that at that age?
Yeah, and it's not just like he was hanging out with adults. It's like going from singing karaoke with your buddies to headlining Coachella in like a week.
Yeah.
That level of intensity.
Right, exactly.
And speaking of Usher, he was discovered and mentored by Diddy back in the day, or
It was.
in the 90s.
Yep.
Has Usher ever said anything about his experience with Diddy? Because he's been pretty quiet on that whole part of his life.
He's been pretty quiet, but there have been these like little comments here and there, allusions to curious things he saw during that time.
Curious things, huh? Now that is interesting, especially when you consider Bieber's own connection with Diddy was forming around the same time.
Yeah, and this is where things start to get really interesting.
So teenage Bieber on the verge of superstardom, and then you've got Diddy like right there, this guy who basically is the definition of music industry power. But how close were they really? Like, was it just a surface level kind of thing?
Closer than you might think.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the internet being the internet, there's actually some pretty revealing footage from that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Might be a little awkward to watch now knowing what we know.
Okay, fill me in.
So there's this video on Bieber's own YouTube channel from 2009. It's called Justin Bieber's 48 HRS with Diddy.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, so it's basically just them hanging out. Diddy's like showing off his cars, letting Justin drive them, that kind of thing.
Like a mentor-mentee kind of vibe?
On the surface, yeah.
Yeah.
But you watch it now and it's like,
Yeah, I see what you mean. There's this weird energy there. Like, looking back, knowing the rumors about Diddy and everything, it feels almost predatory.
Exactly. Like, you've got to remember the power dynamic here. You've got Bieber, this kid, basically.
Yeah.
And he wants to impress this guy who's like the gatekeeper to everything he wants.
And it's not just that one video, right?
No, there's more.
Like that birthday party clip.
Oh, yeah. But with the drink.
Yeah. Diddy hands him an alcoholic drink, and he was underage, wasn't he?
He was. Which is a little concerning, to say the least. Especially given, like we were saying, all the whispers about Diddy's parties.
Like what kind of whispers?
Like, remember that story Khloe Kardashian told? About the naked party at Diddy's place?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Supposedly Bieber and Diddy were both there.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details, but it paints a picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, not exactly the best environment for someone so young. Like, talk about being thrown to the wolves.
And in this industry, there's not a lot of protection for these young artists.
So what happened? Did Bieber and Diddy have a falling out or something? Because I feel like you don't hear much about them these days.
Well, that's the thing. It gets even more interesting. If you watch these videos chronologically, you actually start to see this shift in Bieber as he gets a little older.
A shift, how so?
Like he starts to kind of pull away from Diddy.
Really?
Yeah, there's this one video. It's a little while after that birthday one. And Diddy's asking Bieber why they haven't hung out. And Bieber is just like squirming. He looks so uncomfortable.
Interesting. Like he's realizing maybe this guy isn't someone he should be close to.
It's like he's realizing it, yeah. And I don't think that's unusual.
Yeah.
You know, when young artists are first starting out, they're kind of starstruck by these big names.
Sure.
They want that approval.
Yeah.
But then they grow up a bit, see things more clearly, And sometimes that means distancing themselves from people they used to look up to.
Makes sense. So, okay, then there's that whole AI song thing.
Oh, yeah, the Lost Myself in a Diddy Party.
Yeah.
Wild, right?
It's so weird because it's fake, obviously. Like, it's AI generated. But it feels so real. It's so creepy. It's tapping into something real, though. Right? Like, all the rumors, the what-ifs surrounding those Diddy parties. And not just Diddy, any party where there's that much power imbalance.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to hear about it secondhand, but that song, it's like you're right there almost experiencing it firsthand.
Exactly.
And it just makes you think about all those stories we don't hear, the ones without the AI songs and the blind items.
Right. And how much responsibility do we have as fans, as consumers of music?
What do you mean?
Like, it's easy to get caught up in the music, the persona,
Yeah.
but there's a real person behind all that with real vulnerabilities.
It's like that thing Bieber said a few years back about Billie Eilish.
About wanting to protect her.
Yeah. He was talking about the pressures of fame at a young age, and you could tell he was speaking from experience. You know, like he wished someone had been looking out for him. Yeah, and it just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that power dynamic.
Yeah.
How young artists can be manipulated, taken advantage of.
And how easy it is for everyone else to turn a blind eye.
Exactly. We get so caught up in the celebrity of it all that we forget there are real people behind the music.
Yeah.
People who deserve our protection, our compassion.
Seriously. Well said.